It's time for your number one NAI men's basketball podcast to begin, as the Road to Muni podcast with Junior and Coach Lubbers begins now.
Hello, NAI Hoops Nation, and welcome to another episode of the Road to Muni podcast. As you can see from your screen, we got a lot of people joining us today, and it's for a good reason. We've got the Remy Williams Memorial Invitational coming to Kansas City this weekend, and this is a story that's been, people have sent us stuff over the last 2 years over Remington's story and his passion for the NEI, and I'll tell a little bit of the story and then let people jump in here. But I know this is as far as basketball wise goes, this is gonna be bigger than basketball podcast, but as far as the basketball side of things goes, it's a really cool opportunity for all these teams that are coming to Kansas City, because I know that the motto kind of for this one, or the thought process, is kind of start your season in Kansas City and then hopefully end it in Kansas City as well. And Kansas City is a big deal for Remy, because I know for when he was in junior high and in high school, for anybody that's been to Kansas City, the Division I national tournament back then, and then obviously it's one division now, but everybody that's been to Kansas City, there's a lot of helpers around the arena and gym, and Remy was one of those. And I know that he got to help out a lot during the men's national tournament. And I know sounds like Coach Briggs got to know him a little bit from Georgetown. He got to join the bench for your guys' championship run in 2013, and then from there, when he graduated, his passion led him to Kentucky to try to, or to not try to, but to join your guys as a manager, and was part of your guys' 2019 national title run as well. But like I said before, this is a kid who, once you hear the story from his parents and from Coach Kline and from Coach Briggs here, he was so much bigger than basketball. I mean, everything I hear about him is just so much fun, and I feel like I learn something new about him every time somebody speaks. Not just about him in general, but just how much he wants to give back to people, and how much how caring he was, and he really was going to leave an impact on everybody around him, I feel like. So unfortunately, in 2022, while he was studying for the bar exam, Remy was hit by a drunk driver and killed, and that's kind of why the Memorial Foundation is started up here. So for us, we wanted to tell a story of Remy, and so we brought in everybody here to help us tell it. So I think we'll start with we can start with the parents. I know you guys obviously nobody knows Remy probably more than you guys, but have I missed anything on that part of it? It just sounds like you guys raised your son really, really well, but I just want to tell you, it's an honor, first off, for us to be able to help tell this story, but two, really have learned so much about Remy over the last 2 years. It's been awesome for us to learn so much about him.
No, I tell you, I think you hit a lot. Remy's love for Georgetown was first founded at that NAI tournament. I think he started working there when he was 9 years old as a ball chaser, and worked every job on up. And I know the head women there, Wilma, and then Gina, you know what? It wasn't a tournament unless Remy was there. And I think 1 year, 31 games there, if you put them all together. I think Remy worked 31 games and do it in some capacity there. I will say this, his dad had to be there too when he was younger. So it wasn't just a Remy. Remington's dad was there too.
And it affected the family.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody goes on, not everybody, but, spring break comes and people want to go on vacations. And that wasn't even a thought on our radar, because since a very young age, we knew where we were going to be that week. And there was just no questions asked. And Easton and I, Remy's younger brother, we just went along with it. We probably weren't there for all 31 games. Easton's not a huge sports person. Our other son is huge in technology, but we did not you knew where we were at spring break. Don't even ask. People would ask to include us on their trips, group trips with Remy's friends, and it wasn't even ever entertained. We would be at the NAIA tournament, downtown Kansas City, period.
Yeah. And a funny story kind of going on that. Remy turned 16 in September, okay? And for whatever reason, Remy didn't feel the need to get a license, okay? Well, the NAIA tournament rolled around in March, and I told him, I said, look, I'm not going to be going down there and staying every day.
Me either.
So the day or 2 days before the tournament started, guess who went and got their license?
Finally. He had done everything, all the training, everything, but just not the last step. Yeah. But that was his final motivation. Yeah,
so he could be down there. And, really that NAIA was the tie to Georgetown. I remember, when Remy wasn't on the court doing something, he hounded all these teams for their autographs. Had a program. He'd go around to every team. Because as you know, the teams are generally sitting in the stands, either watching their upcoming opponent or waiting for their game to start. And he would go back to every team and hound them for their autographs. And we were sitting in the dome there watching the game, and Happy Osborne happened to walk by and set up above us. Remy, Dad, that's Happy. Dad, that's Happy Osborne. I go, yeah, Remy, that's Happy Osborne. He goes, well, I'm going to go ask him for his autograph. So he went up there, and Happy talked to him for probably 30 minutes about life, about everything. And come to say, he goes, hey, have you got our team? And Remy goes, no. He goes, well, come on back to the locker room with me. So that's everybody awesome. Signed. And unfortunately, I think they got eliminated that game or shortly thereafter. So they went home. But, I mean, that really made an impact on Remy. And so next year, we're walking around the corridor there outside the actual arena. And here comes the Georgetown team. And Remy's, hey, there's Happy Osborne. There's Georgetown. I said, yeah, I see him. I said, he probably won't remember you, Remington. And about that time, Happy goes, Remington, down the corridor, all of a sudden. And then I want to say it was in junior high. Remy was there. Georgetown won a game. He was talking to Happy. Happy was like, hey, you want to sit on our bench? And, the kid's world was made, right? The next game. And actually, they made a little run that year, so Remy became kind of like a good luck charm, I think. And I remember Happy's only condition was he had to wear a tie on the bench. So Colette was out looking for an orange and black tie at, about 10 o'clock at night, the night before their next game.
I believe it might have come from Walmart. We're not fancy shoppers. We're or secondhand, if you know Remy. But and to add to that, Remy's passion for life and the experience of life was so much so that we still have, in going through his stuff from all the NAIA tournaments, the confetti and all that falls after like some of the major games, he would stuff all that in his pockets. And he had a spot in bags in his room. He collected everything. And it drove me nuts because I'm very minimalist. And he just had a deep connection to hold, and things meant so much to him. And now it's super cool that in his stuff, we still have little bags of like confetti where they're from. We have sand from different baseball fields, turf from football. I mean, the kid was a one-in-a-lifetime type of person, but he loved deeply and he experienced things deeply. And that's how he lived life. It's really, really cool, and we're proud of that.
Coach Briggs, my curiosity goes to when did you first meet Remy? What was that like for you? And tell us a little bit about that story.
Right. So that's great. And that goes right back to what Marty was talking about. Remy being an 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old kid running around the arena. And when he met Happy, I know Marty and I have shared a picture that we have of, I'm not sure if it's when he first met him or not, but there's a picture of Remy can't be, but 9 or 10 years old. And it's he and Happy in that picture. And we've sent that back and forth over the years. But it was in that, Happy hired me in the summer of 2007. So it was either 7 or 8, I believe. I know 7, we made a Final Four run. And I believe that might have been when I'm sure I met him that summer, but I know the next 2 years we lost early in the first round. I believe one of them to Coach Kline and Park University, maybe in 8 or 9.
Oh,
They
there
knocked
we go.
us out in the first round there. So I met him then, but I really, really remember really getting to know him in that 2011 tournament when we went to the Final Four. And that's when Remington was probably, he'd been 11 or 12 or 10, 11, 12 in 2011, Marty, Colette? And that's when he was coming over.
12-ish, yeah.
12 years old, and that's when he would come we were in the Marriott. That was before everybody went to the Crown Plaza of the Westin, and he's hanging out over there in the Marriott with us. We're watching film in Happy's room, and I think we beat Concordia, California, to go to the Final Four on that Saturday. And I remember getting Arthur Bryant's that night, and Remy sitting in there hanging out, eating Arthur Bryant's with us, and he might have even spent the night that night on Happy's couch. I'm not positive, but I remember
he did,
that
because as a parent, I got the call and I'm like, is this safe? Is this But I was wanted my kid to get experience, and I believe he did spend the night. And I was texting him all night about his safety and to call if there's any concern.
Yep. But he was there with Happy had the suite, had the couch and everything. So he's in there on the couch. We're eating Arthur Bryant. My cousin Ari was our manager, so Remington and Ari were hanging out and doing things, and of course the players. Everybody's relaxing and getting ready for that Sunday off. Where we ended up going to Jim Kissick's house that Sunday, and I'm sure Remington went there. But that 2011 tournament run where we were there, and made that Final Four, that was when I really, really got to know Remington as a 11, 12-year-old, and then it just blossomed there on out. The rest of the tournament run into him coming to Georgetown as a student. So.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And obviously, winners win, and it sounds like you can call them good luck or whatever, but eventually that luck is turning into something different when you're part of 3 different championship runs there. 2011 Fab Four run, and then obviously the other 2 national title runs there too. So I'm sure it was not very hard, but convincing him to go to Kentucky and come over to Georgetown, was that as simple as just a simple ask, or did you have to pry a little bit?
Well, that was actually all Remington, and Marty and Colette were driving him around to different places. I know he went to Notre Dame, he went to Emory down in Atlanta, he came to Georgetown. So we're fast forwarding here to 2015 or 15, 16-ish. So he was with us in that 13 national title run. That was when he was probably sophomore in high school-ish. And then the 2016 team we lost at the buzzer in the championship game. He was part of that run as well, and that was his freshman year, correct, Marty?
Yes, it was. Yes,
2016 was his freshman year. So yeah, his college decision, I didn't put any pressure on Remington to come to Georgetown. I told him, Remington, we would love to have you here, but do not make your college decision off the NAIA basketball tournament and you love Georgetown Tigers. If you come to Georgetown to college, it needs to be because you want to be at Georgetown. It's a good school, and he wanted to go to law school, obviously, which he did later on once he finished up at Georgetown. And I can't with a straight face tell a young man that's going to college to pick Georgetown over Notre Dame and Emory and a couple other maybe big time academic programs like that. But but we were so glad when he did come, and I remember going to dinner with Marty and Colette Remington when he got here, and we all went out to dinner that August when he moved into school, and he just instantly became even more part of the family. Come to my daughter's birthday. My daughter's birthday's in October. She had a Halloween-themed birthday party. He shows up in full Kansas City Royals uniform, Salvador Perez uniform, and just was so great with my kids, so great with everybody at Georgetown and the community, and probably the most polite young man as a child that you could come across. Everything was yes sir, no sir, very polite. I know you guys have probably heard of the king of note writing. He'd write thank you notes and write tons of handwritten notes. But he also had that comedian side to him too, where it was so fun to be around and just so funny and always cracking jokes. And, I remember getting a voicemail one birthday. It might've been the year after he graduated from Georgetown, went into law school. I remember getting a voicemail saying, "Coach, you're getting closer to early bird dining and half price movies, and happy birthday," just things like that, just the memory of him, it just brings a smile to my face, and all the great memories of having Remington around, and, the impact he made on everyone here in Georgetown, there in Kansas City, down in Guatemala on his mission trips, in law school, the friends he made. He was just like Colette said, he was just one of a kind, amazing, incredible young man.
Yeah, and Colette, or go ahead, Coach.
No, I was just going to ask Coach Kline what you think about being a part of a classic like this, and just the story you're hearing. What is that? What is that? How does that impact your locker room? How does it impact your program to be able to be a part of something like this?
Well, it's something special. Mr. and Mrs. Williams and Chris, we just want to say thank you for letting us be involved in this, because I'm telling you, it's only going to grow. We've gotten some more calls for the future, and more teams I think are interested in coming. But what a special young man, just from reading and listening to everything, and serving the people and giving back to the people and doing the missions and the homeless. Golly, I mean, if anyone raises a son or a daughter and they can be like Remy, that's pretty special. And I'll tell you this, I really didn't know him, but I'll tell you this, he was smart and understood the game of basketball. If he's going to tie on to Georgetown, because Georgetown's usually making a deep run to the national tournament. Yeah. So, I mean, just quality, and we really enjoy being a part of it. And like I said, thank you for having us, because we want to do things the right way. We want to treat people the right way, and that's what Remy did.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I would really like to, at this time, while you're talking about that, really thank your athletic director, Christian Gillette there, you, Jason, you, Chris, for really being the ones that started this whole thing, 3 years ago, 2 years ago?
This will be the third year.
Since this is going to be the third one, I tell you, started with the conversation with Chris and Christian there at Remy's funeral, actually.
Correct.
And from there, it became a one game. Last year, you had 2 games. And just to see this expand, and I will tell you, boy, if you want something done or if you need something, just call Christian Gillette.
That's right. That's right.
Because she runs hard. And, speaking of her, Remy and her actually had ties all the way back to her NAIA days. Okay. When she worked at the NAIA at some of the tournaments, I had met her at the tournaments, didn't know her. Funny thing about her is her brother, Sam Kanopik, is the football coach at Pembroke Hill High School, where Remy went to high school at and played football for Sam Kanopik. Didn't know that for years, that, came up. And actually, Sam's the first one that took Remy and a group of, I don't want to say just football players, but a group of students from Pembroke to Guatemala, where he dug latrines for about a 10-day period as a little internship. And that's really where his love for that country developed. And I think Colette will probably get into, later while he was at Georgetown during the summer, Remy was fluent in Spanish. So he would go back to Guatemala, out to a small village, and teach English to a group of youngsters, of children. So long story short, we have a tie to Kristen that nobody knew about.
Not even as a parent.
Yeah.
Remington was a child who had adult friends that there were so many that I didn't even, I couldn't keep up or know. He didn't tell me. For him, it was just very natural and normal. And not only if he met them, he continued that relationship. And during his life, and even more so after his tragic passing, we've received notes or phone calls from literally random people that had this relationship that we were not aware of. And one's a cool story about an older man in his 80s who had retired and become a charter bus driver. And he took Remy and our youngsters on these mission trips. And like Remy and him would have full-on phone conversations and texts, and it's really it blows our mind, the amount of relationships that he had with all ages, and how he kept those relationships ongoing.
Yeah. And, talking about people at the NAI, I mentioned, the volunteers that headed it up. Wilma, who was there for years, became like his grandma. Gina became like his mother,
There's several ushers there to this day. 2 years ago, the last tournament, older ushers that when they see Marty or I, they, talk about Remy, like they've known him his whole life, these people. Yeah. And they're random volunteers at the NAI tournament that I look forward to hugging and seeing every year.
Yeah. I mean, Remy would, before the NAI tournament gets here, there's a lot of work that gets done too, stuffing bags, getting everything ready for the players. Man, Remy wanted to know which day that was, how many days did you need him, because he would be there for that. And, he built a good relationship with Jim Carr, too. Him and Jim Carr were like, every time Remy was back in Kansas City, boy, they'd have a conversation and talk and so forth. So, he was really...
He was incredible at relationships, which most of us really stink at. And he had an incredible ability to foster relationships with people of all kinds, of all ages, all races, all backgrounds. And that's a lot of what we like to keep alive, is that relationships matter. Life has gotten so complex, and it doesn't need to be this way. It's very, very simple. We are humans that need to have relationships and foster those and communicate and respect people and put in the time. It doesn't take a lot. You can smile at people and make a day. And Remy got that. From very young, I would tell my kids, it's this simple. I don't care how intelligent you are. I don't care how talented you are. If you are a crappy person and you don't treat people well, no one cares. No one cares that you're smart. No one cares that you're intelligent. No one cares that you're popular. None of that is going to matter throughout your life, because being a good person is most important, and the others you add on to. And Remy and Easton, they got that. Both of them got it. And we didn't just tell them, we showed them. We went to feed the homeless. We showed them what these things look like. We didn't just tell them, we showed them. We did it ourselves. And so people keep asking, what did you do with your kids? We kept it really simple. Be a good human is basically the core. Be a good human. And respect people. Difference is okay. It's no problem, And Remy got it. He got it big time. He was a little obsessive about it, and we would often be like, son, chill, chill. He was just always, he literally never slept. And he just had that zest for life and that need to make sure people knew that they mattered, that they fit in. And he would connect people that wouldn't normally probably even bother with each other. He would connect them, and then new relationships were formed. And so I think somehow, somewhere, he might have known that his time here on Earth was going to be short, and he just put it all into those 25 years. So,
well, and I'll jump in here and well, first off, I want to circle back and do want to thank Kristen. She's been awesome at organizing all of this and getting everything situated for this podcast today. But also, you know, when you look back on people's lives and the lives they've lived, something I said in the intro, the amount of people over the last couple of years who have just wanted to share with us Remy's story, and it's not the same. It's not some one person sharing over and over and over again. This is many people we've had emails and DMs and different stuff from. So I knew Remy's story last year, which was what obviously the tragic loss end of life is part of it, but just to be able to continue to learn more about him has been awesome. But just the amount of people that reached out to us shows how many people he did, how many lives he touched around or across his 25 years of life, because so many people want to share his life and the life he lived. And that just says a lot about Remy right there. I could probably sum up that right there, just in the fact that so many people want to share about his life, and that shows the impact he had on others during his life. So,
well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think it goes to show too, just listening here, which is just a beautiful story, and thank you for sharing it and putting it out. And I think this is the NAIA though too. This is one of the things that makes the NAIA so special, is these stories and these moments that happen, and the care and love that permeates locker rooms and households and everything else, and really is that bridge like you're talking about, in terms of not worrying about differences and backgrounds and whatever else. It's all about helping each other and caring about each other. And Coach Briggs, Coach Kline, and their locker rooms. I mean, just those kids have to understand too that there's other Remys running around in the bleachers every day. I mean, they're watching and they're paying attention to how these kids act and how they carry themselves and what matters and all the different service things that go on in each program. I know most programs are doing stuff like that, and it sounds like Remy was just such a leader in that area, and it also sounds like he didn't average 20 points a game, right? He wasn't even suiting up for the games, and look how much he's impacting the story of the NAI. I mean, it's one of the most beautiful things that makes us level better than everybody else, right?
Yeah.
You can have your D1s and D2s, you can have all that stuff, because the stories like Remy's are what permeate the NAI. And
it also transcends what I'd love to share at our school, Remy's Legacy Academy. Our director is Carlos Lopez Sache, and I sent him the values of the NAIA, I think.
Yeah.
He loves this, teaches in Guatemala these values, and has them on the wall at Remy's Legacy Academy. I mean, the NAIA doesn't even know this. So the NAIA is present in a small village of Santa Catarina, Barahona. And Carlos, I hope you all can meet him someday, is our director. And he saw those values and he's like, wow. He teaches the kid the values. He talks about the values, and they're posted on the wall. I mean, NAIA is there in our 2-room schoolhouse in a village with most people don't even have water. So it's crazy. Yeah. Thank you, NAIA, for allowing our Remy to have you touch his life and give him direction and hope.
Yeah, and I think obviously he had a legacy while he was alive, and you guys are keeping it going now, and stuff that you just talked about the school. I know you have other stuff in Guatemala as well going on, and then if you want to talk about the Remy Williams Legacy Foundation too, I know it gives out scholarships to students and helps give back to the community, which is kind of by what you guys have been saying is just how Remy lived his life as well. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about as far as
I think there's a couple of things that probably we could touch on. We do, like, Colette's extensively involved in driving the Guatemala project. She's there probably 9 months a year, really driving that. but also part of the reason she's back now is not only for the Invitational, that's a huge part of it, but also here in Kansas City, we do a homeless project as well. Remy was huge with the homeless. He was involved with this church at a young age. He became involved with a gentleman that you guys have met, Sonny.
And Sonny will be at the tournament, and he'll probably be here actually this afternoon helping me. He comes to my house as I'm out of the country and actually receives these Christmas boxes from Amazon that we pack and deliver to homeless for Christmas. Yeah. So
that's what I was going to say. We have a homeless Christmas project that Colette spearheads and does a phenomenal job with, where she packages gifts. Everybody gets the same box, so there's no.
And it's a true gift. Nothing's used. It's something that you and I would open and be like, "Wow, makes me feel special," but also useful. I rely heavily on Sonny. I haven't been homeless. Sonny has been that for years. No longer is, but he helps me handpick survival and much needed things that will be extra special to these people as they receive it. Yeah. And each box is wrapped with the Christmas present. It's not handed in a trash bag. It's wrapped. It has a bow and a note. You know, like you or I would receive from your family or friends from Christmas. So that's a big project that we have here in Kansas City. And it just happened because Sonny and I were sitting at the first basketball tournament in November there at Park. And I looked at Sonny and I'm like, Sonny, what can we do, you know, as a tribute to the homeless? And this was found, and this will be our third Christmas. And that's also why I'm home, in the thick of getting all those gifts ready, packaged, wrapped.
And I think here again, back to Kristen, she volunteered the basketball team while they're sitting around over Thanksgiving break to maybe wrap some presents, which, you know, when there's three of us wrapping 100 presents, it can get tedious.
It can.
So, but
and it's more hands involved. Of, you know, I thought that's brilliant. Yes, Christian, more people wrapping presents, more relationships and hands that go into the presents that go on to the homeless people. So Remy, again, he just finds a way to intertwine himself, even though he lives in heaven now.
Yeah.
Also tied in with the Invitational, I don't want to miss the opportunity to bring this up and thank Jason for having his players go to the Summit Future Foundation. There's big tie-in there. One of Remy's good friends, wife, who's also one of Remy's good friends, works at the Summit Future Foundation. It's I don't want to say it's a facility that helps
adults with disabilities. Young
adults with disabilities. I know they're super excited to come to the tournament. I think one of your players told him it was going to be his birthday, and in true Remington's forms, I guess they're all making him cards and super excited to see the young man whose birthday it is this week. But again, you know,
Ashley is a dear, dear person, and her husband Clint, and they also have a sweet daughter, Bailey, who Clint was Remy's really good friend, and Ashley too. They're married and have a child, and are huge supporters of Remington now, even that he's gone. And it was as Ashley said, it's so cool for her to have two of her worlds unite, and we're super excited about that. And Ashley and her students from Summit, they're over the moon. Like, it makes their year to be included in this tournament, and many are coming to the tournament. We've got them T-shirts, and that's what Remy's about. And we just want to continue to grow this, where we all help one another and encourage and have some joy, you know?
Yeah, and obviously, you know, pretty cool to see. You know, you guys are going to bring a women's teams and men's teams up to the Kansas City area here. I know there's 4 games on Friday, 4 games on Saturday. For anybody that is watching this podcast, and if you're in the Kansas City area, I definitely think you should get out there and watch if you can in person. But if not, we'll post the links and stuff as well, so people can watch online. And I just think, first off, I want to thank everybody again for coming on and joining us. I think that this was a story that, like I said, I've been hearing for the last couple of years, and it's just an honor to be able to help, put it out there more. I know you guys do so much from just listening to everything you guys already do with Remy and continuing on his legacy and everything like that. It's been cool to learn so much about your son and the life he lived and the life you guys continue to live through him and through your actions. And I hope that, like you said, I hope others can view this and it really is, especially in these times over the next week here. We have some stuff coming on. It's all about how you treat people who may be all about how you treat people who may be different than you or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's all about the relationships in life, and I truly believe that. And that's a point you drove home earlier that it really drives home with me, just because I'm a full believer in that. Coach Kline, I know I can let you sum it up if you want to talk about your excitement about the Classic. I know sometimes when you have 8 games in 2 days to help manage, I know Kristen will do a good job of helping manage those games as well. But you guys at Park are going to be able to host this entire Classic or Invitational, and I know you talked about it potentially growing here in the future as well. And what's it mean to you guys, one, to be able to host it, but also to you want to maybe talk about some of the teams that are coming in this weekend?
Yeah, it's going to be a good tournament. And, the one thing, Kristen does a great job, and she's built it up. And I think, like I said earlier, it's only going to expand, and we got more interest from other teams and things like that. But we want to be associated with good people. And the Williams are great people. Chris is a great person. And that's what it's all about. Just like Mrs. Williams said, it's how you treat people. And I think we've lost a little bit of that in the world today. And it's all about relationships. Maybe it's because I'm getting a little older on the coaching side. I like some of the referees now, and maybe but I really enjoy the relationships and being around good people that do it the right way. And oh my gosh, you guys raised an awesome son. And I know you've deflected and gave credit to the NAI and things like that. But let me tell you this, Mr. and Mrs. Williams, you guys did it. You guys raised a top quality son that knew how to treat people and was so willing to give back. That just means a lot. And the basketball part is secondary.
Yep.
We're a work in progress. And we just hope that we want to play Chris in Georgetown because we know that's a top team in the country every year. We don't want any false identity. We want to come in and see where we stand from day one. And there's other good teams that are coming in with William Woods and the Georgetown women and Benedictine. It's going to be really good. And like I said, it's just awesome to be a part of it. And thank you to the Williams and Chris for really getting this going.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, Coach. Thank you.
Yeah, that's well said, and a good way to end the show. Again, appreciate everybody coming on. I think this is a story that hopefully we can get out to more people, but a story that Remy connected to different people, and I think his connection hopefully can drive forward. And I just appreciate you guys coming on and sharing that with us.
Well, thank you, and thanks for having us. Thanks for the opportunity to have us, and hope to see you this weekend.
We will see everybody on our next episode. But again, thank you for everybody for coming on. And until next time, this is everybody that's on this podcast signing off.